So wouldn't it be fun if the Jacksonville Jaguars acquired Scary Terry, or if they went out and got Micah Parsons, these two superstars in the primes of their careers that have demand trades from their teams? Yeah, that would be a whole lot of fun, but for a whole slew of reasons, it's just not gonna happen. Now, to talk a little bit about Scary Terry, Micah Parsons, it's almost certain that they'll still be with their respective teams, the Commanders, the Cowboys, when the season starts. That seems most likely. However, I'll concede there is definitely the opportunity that somebody swoops in with an offer good enough that those teams move off of those players, especially a team like the Cowboys, where loyalty is really important. If Micah Parsons digs his heels in and the Joneses get a really good offer, sure, maybe they move off of him, but that's not likely. But for the Jaguars, it makes even less sense than virtually any other team out there. And there's a lot of reasons. The one that jumps into my mind immediately, especially when you talk about a guy like Micah Parsons, who's going to be incredibly expensive. The Jaguars' future salary cap situation isn't the best. It's not like horrible moving forward, but when you look down the road using over the cap, the Jaguars in a couple of years are not in the greatest situation when it comes to free money to be spending down the road. They've already got a lot of money tied up in their players. And speaking of which, the Jaguars have to make a lot of decisions come the end of this season. They've already made some pretty splashy moves. Obviously, the Travis Hunter trade is what brings Trevor Lawrence an extra weapon, also gives them another defender on defense to try to make one of the worst defenses in the NFL respectable. So the Jaguars have invested in the current crew of players, trying to get this current roster to function and to basically turn into a yearly contender. So with the salary tied up, with the Jaguars already spending, including draft picks to bring in Travis Hunter, they don't have the future salary to make these deals. They also don't have the future draft picks to be making these deals to bring in somebody like a Micah Parsons or a Terry McLaurin. So there's not really the opportunity there. Also keep in mind, Trevor Lawrence, who is kind of central to whether or not the Jaguars are going to actually work out moving forward as a constantly contending team, Trevor Lawrence was not drafted by this front office. He was not drafted by Liam Cohen and this coaching staff. So these decision makers, the coaching staff, the front office, working in conjunction together, I suspect this season is all about giving Trevor Lawrence the best possible chance to succeed moving forward. If it doesn't work out, if he doesn't make strides, if it looks like the Jaguars are not close by the end of the season, and I think what that means, by the way, is at least close to 500. They might not quite be 500, but at least close. If they turn in another 4-13 season, they're not close at all. Trevor Lawrence is healthy, but not making plays, still making too many turnovers, big mistakes like that. I suspect the Jaguars will start looking for an exit ramp because he is one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL, and you're not going to continue paying him that kind of salary if you're not getting anywhere near the return on investment. So I suspect this season, part of the strategic plan the Jaguars have established is give Trevor Lawrence an opportunity to be successful now, and if it does not work, we need to look for an exit ramp. Well, if you're investing huge money in one of these superstars, you are tying up more future money into a current roster that may not work out. So I suspect the Jaguars, beyond these two players, I suspect the Jaguars are not going to make any splashy moves from here out until next offseason at the earliest, once they know what the future looks like. Is Trevor Lawrence the guy? Is this current roster built well enough to contend with the addition of some more pieces, or do we need to start hitting a reset button? Now, the good news is all early returns, and these are super early. Training camp, you really don't pay a ton of attention to it unless it's like horrific. It looks like things are moving in the right direction for Trevor Lawrence. The scrimmage went well for the team. Seemed like the coaching staff was very happy with that, in particular with how Trevor Lawrence played. So it does look like the roster is moving in the right direction. I think the Jaguars personally, and of course, I'm biased, like heavily so. I really want to buy into the optimism, but I think the Jaguars are going to be better than most national pundits think. So I think things are moving in the right direction, but don't expect big splashy moves. Like, there are not going to be huge blockbuster trades coming out of Jacksonville, at least in terms of acquiring players. Now, if we get into the season and things are starting horrifically, there might be a fire sale. That could be the case. Again, I don't actually think that's going to happen, but sure, that's within the realm of possibility. So, long story short, Terry McLaurin, Micah Parsons, they've demanded trades. I don't think that'll happen. I think eventually they'll come to terms. They'll agree on new contracts with their teams, and they'll likely be playing for those teams come week 1 of the NFL season. But even if they go a different direction, they are almost certainly not going to be playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Frankly, that's just fine. Just don't get your hopes up and get delusional about acquiring one of these two superstars, because I think the splashy moves are done for the Jaguars. I think it's about time for the Jaguars to really focus on this roster, figure out what they have, and then from there, figure out what the future looks like moving forward past 2025. But obviously, before we get there, we have this season to look forward to, and I think it is going to be an exciting one. So that's my thoughts on the matter. I would love to know all of your guys' thoughts, where you think those players are going to land. Are they going to change hands, end up at a different team, or are they going to stay with who they're already with, the Commanders and the Cowboys? Let me know down below in those comments. Otherwise, I'm Shane, and I'll see you guys in the next video.